We begin our journey tonight by confronting the single greatest thief of human potential, which is the illusion of time. I am here to tell you that your time is now. It is not tomorrow. It is not when the circumstances align. It is not when the world makes room for you or when the economy improves. It is now. This present moment is the only moment that holds any creative power. Everything that ever was and everything that ever will be lives inside this eternal now and within you. You have been waiting. I know the feeling well. You have been waiting for a sign. You have been waiting for a shift in the atmosphere. You have been waiting for permission from some external authority to be the person you dream of being. But I tell you tonight with absolute certainty that the sign is not coming. You are the sign. You are the shift. You are the permission you seek. All that you desire you already possess in the realm of imagination. If only you would dare to assume it. The only distance between you and your highest life is not a distance of miles or years. It is the distance between belief and realization. It is the psychological distance between the state of I hope and the state of I am. We must dismantle the trap of tomorrow. The concept of tomorrow is the most dangerous narcotic in the world. It lulls you to sleep. It convinces you that your salvation lies in the future. You say to yourself that when I get the money, then I will be happy, or when I meet the right person, then I will be loved, or when I get the promotion, then I will be secure. Do you see what you are doing? You are placing your power into a time that does not exist. You are emptying the present moment of its glory and projecting it onto a screen called the future. But the future is nothing more than the present arrived at. If you are not that person now, you will not be that person then. Because when then arrives, it will be now. And if your habit is to wait, you will continue to wait. You are creating a perpetual state of postponement. Waiting is not a passive activity. Waiting is an active state of consciousness. And because the law of the universe is that you beget what you are, if you are in the state of waiting, you will beget more waiting. You will chase the horizon forever and never reach it. You must stop waiting and start being. You have been conditioned to look outside for evidence. The rational mind is obsessed with evidence. It wants to see the bank balance change before it feels wealthy. It wants to see the medical report change before it feels healthy. It wants the senses to confirm the reality. But I tell you that evidence will lie to you. The senses are deceivers. They only report on what has been, not what can be. The senses will whisper of delay. They will shout of impossibility. They will tell you that you are too old or too young or too uneducated. But imagination speaks of truth, and truth does not wait for facts. Truth creates facts. You are not meant to sit and hope for the facts to change. You are meant to enter the state of the wish fulfilled and compel the facts to change. To become the one who already is. To become the one who already has. Let go of becoming as something far off. Instead, become in consciousness. This brings us to the great secret that has been hidden in plain sight for centuries. You were told that the kingdom of heaven is within you. This is not a metaphor. It is not poetry. It is the literal, structural truth of the universe. The kingdom is not a place in the stars. It is not a gated community in the afterlife reserved for the pious. The kingdom is consciousness. It is your own wonderful human imagination. When the scriptures say the kingdom is within, they mean that the causes of all life are internal, not external. There is no power outside of you. There is no secondary cause. You look at the world and you blame the politicians or the economy or your family for your situation. But the world is only a mirror. It is a faithful reflector of your inner speech and your inner moods. If you stand in front of a mirror and you are frowning, you cannot force the reflection to smile. You can yell at the mirror, you can break the mirror, but it will not smile until you smile. The world is that mirror. It waits on you. When you turn within and claim your desire, the world outside rearranges itself in obedience to that inner decree. No man can keep from you what you have accepted within. No system can deny what you have embodied, for reality bends to the one who dares to believe. You imagine mourning, and you rise. You imagine hunger, and you act. You imagine limitation, and it becomes a war. Likewise, you imagine freedom and the chains fall away. You are not bound by anything but your own consent. You have consented to be small. You have consented to be a victim of time, but you can withdraw that consent tonight. You can change the entire script of your life simply by withdrawing attention from what is and placing full focus on what you choose to be. This is not pretending in the weak sense. It is not make-believe like a child. It is creation. It is the work of God. Consider the nature of this. Now, the present moment is the only access point to the divine. When you postpone your good, you are actually pushing God away. You are saying, "Not now, Lord, come back later." But God's name is I am, not I will be. To claim your inheritance, you must speak in the present tense. You must feel in the present tense. You must ask yourself, how would I feel right now if I were the man I want to be? Catch that mood. That mood is the kingdom. That mood is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. The feeling of the wish fulfilled is the raw material that the universe uses to build your tomorrow. If you do not have the feeling now, you will not have the manifestation tomorrow. The delay has never been in the giving. The Father has always given you the kingdom. The delay has been in your receiving. Your hesitation to believe has clothed itself in time, in waiting in preparation. But now, strip all of that away. You do not need more lessons. You do not need more confirmations. You do not need more delays dressed up as personal development. What you need is recognition. Recognition of who you already are. You are the operant power. You are the dreamer of the dream. When you realize this, the heavy weight of time falls off your shoulders. You realize that you do not have to climb a ladder of success. You simply have to shift your center of gravity from the outer man to the inner man. The outer man lives in time. The inner man lives in eternity. When you live from the inner man, you command time. You collapse the timeline. You bring the future into the present and make it a living reality. This is the difference between the slave and the master. The slave waits for the master to tell him what to do. The master decides and the world obeys. The world reflects your inner speech, your silent assumptions, your daily imaginal acts. So dare to feel now what you would feel if all were already accomplished. Dare to walk in the state as if it were already true. You do not need more time. Time is not your master. You are not preparing for your future. You are calling it into the present. And what you persist in imagining, what you claim with feeling, must externalize. So stop waiting. Waiting implies separation. Waiting delays the miracle. Start being now. Now become the version of yourself who is no longer in hope but in possession. Feel it real, and the world will conform. This is not magic, it is law. What you consent to inwardly must express outwardly. It cannot fail. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and trust the unseen hand to bring about its perfect unfolding. All things are yours when you stop postponing your own power. We must understand that reality is not solid. It looks solid, it feels solid, but physics tells us it is mostly empty space and energy. Mysticism tells us it is fluid and malleable. It is shaped by consciousness. When you stand in the conviction of your desire, you are molding this fluid substance. But if you are constantly checking the time, constantly asking when will it happen, you are freezing the substance. You are hardening the concrete of your current limitations. You must become fluid. You must become flexible in your mind. You must be willing to let go of the shore of the known and float into the ocean of the unknown. The unknown is where the treasure is. But you cannot reach the unknown if you are clinging to the clock on the wall. The clock measures the past. It measures the decay. Imagination measures the life. Let us go deeper into this concept of the kingdom within. If the kingdom is within, then the king is within. You are the king, but you have fallen asleep and dreamed you are a pauper. You are dreaming you are limited. You are dreaming you are waiting for a check to arrive or a lover to call. Wake up. The king does not wait. The king decrees. A decree is not a wish. A decree is a settled fact. When you go into your imagination and you construct a scene of your fulfilled desire, you are issuing a royal decree. You are saying, let it be so. And because you are the king of your own consciousness, your subconscious mind, which is the greatest servant in the universe, rushes to execute your command. But if you waver, if you say, let it be so, maybe, if it's possible, if I'm worthy, then you confuse the servant. The servant waits for a clear command. Your hesitation is the only block. You think there are obstacles. You think there is competition. You think there is a lack of resources. These are illusions. There is no competition in the kingdom of creation. There is only creation. You are not taking from another. You are creating out of the infinite substance of your own consciousness. So there is no need to hurry and there is no need to wait. There is only the need to align. Alignment is the secret. When you align your thoughts, your feelings, and your inner speech with your desire, time disappears. You enter the state of flow. You enter the zone of the miraculous. In this zone, things happen instantly. Why? Because you have removed the friction of doubt. You have removed the friction of waiting. You have become a clear channel for the power to flow. So, I ask you tonight to stop looking at the calendar. Stop counting the days. Count only your assumptions. Track only your states of mind. If you catch yourself waiting, catch yourself immediately. Say to yourself, no, I am not waiting. I have it. It is mine. I am experiencing it now in my imagination. And my imagination is the true reality. Return to the feeling of having. Return to the feeling of being. Do this 1,000 times a day if you must, until the habit of waiting is broken. Until the addiction to the future is cured. You must become present. You must become so present that the now becomes full and rich with your desire. Your time is not coming. Your time is, it is here. It is now, and you are the one you have been waiting for. There is nothing to earn. There is no worthiness to acquire. You have always been worthy. You are God playing the part of man. Would God wait for permission? Would God wait for a sign? God is the sign. God is the permission. God is the power. And that God is your own wonderful human imagination. Step into that identity. Step into that power. And watch how the illusion of time shatters, leaving only the perfection of the fulfillment standing in its place. This is the truth. This is the way. And it begins the moment you stop waiting and start claiming. We have established that the time is now and that the kingdom is within, but knowing this is not enough. We must now move from the intellectual understanding of these truths to the practical application of them. We must move from the exhausting state of trying to get something to the empowering state of being the one who already has it. This is the identity shift. This is the crossing of the bridge from the man of earth to the man of spirit. Most people live their entire lives in the state of wanting. They want money, they want love, they want health. But they do not realize that wanting is a state of consciousness in itself. And like all states of consciousness, it reproduces itself. To want is to declare, I do not have. To strive is to declare, I am not yet there. The universe is a faithful mirror. If you stand before it and scream, I want, it will reflect back to you a world that keeps you wanting. It will give you more opportunities to want. It will give you more distance to run. This is why you must stop chasing. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you are. And you are what you are conscious of being. Power lives in decision. It lives in conviction. It lives in the quiet but steady assumption that it is done. Not it will be done in some distant future, but it is done in the only reality that matters, which is your imagination. You must learn to speak to yourself with the authority of a king issuing a decree. When a king speaks, he does not wonder if the servants will obey. He speaks and he considers the matter settled. You must look at your desire and say, it is finished. This mental attitude of finality is the switch that turns on the power. You have perhaps waited for a feeling or a sign of readiness before you claim your good. You think you need to feel worthy, or you need to feel a sudden burst of joy before you can believe. But I tell you that the feeling you wait for is born from the assumption, not before it. Just as light follows the flipping of a switch, the feeling follows the decision of the identity. If you wait for the light to arrive before you flip the switch, you will remain in darkness forever. You must dare to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled before there is any reason to feel it. You must generate the feeling out of your own spiritual center. Do not seek to manipulate the outer world. It is clay in your hands. But you cannot shape the clay by yelling at it. You shape it inwardly. All change begins within. You do not rise by changing people or conditions or events. You do not rise by changing jobs or changing cities or changing spouses. You rise by changing your state of consciousness, and your state is governed by what you accept as true about yourself. Accept a higher truth. Claim a greater identity. Assume a richer story and live from it, not toward it. There is a vast difference between thinking of the end and thinking from the end. When you think of the end, you are a spectator looking at a picture of success. When you think from the end, you are the actor in the scene holding the trophy. You are looking out at the world from the eyes of the person you want to be. This subtle shift in perspective is the difference between a daydream and a creation. Every desire you feel is a whisper from your higher self. It is a call to rise to a new state of being. Society has taught you to suppress your desires or to view them as selfish. But I tell you that desire is the language of God. You are not chasing desires, you are being summoned by them. Each longing is an invitation to awaken, to remember what is already yours. That thing you want is not outside of you. It is already part of you in consciousness. And consciousness is the only true substance of reality. When you identify with your desire, you fuse with it. You become one with it. It ceases to be something you are pursuing and becomes something you are expressing. This is the marriage of the mind. You marry the state of your desire, and from that union a new world is born. Your role is not to strive or to struggle, but to embody, to imagine so vividly and consistently that the imaginal becomes inevitable. Your world outpictures what you persistently accept in your inner conversations. We must talk about this matter of inner speech. What are you saying to yourself when no one is listening? That is your prayer. That is your decree. Most people are holding a constant inner conversation of failure. They argue with others in their mind. They justify their limitations. They complain about the weather and the economy. And they do not realize that this inner babble is the architect of their misfortune. You must take control of your inner speech. You must make your inner conversation match your fulfilled desire. If you were wealthy, what would you be saying to yourself? You would not be worrying about the rent. You would be planning your vacation or discussing investments. Start having those conversations now. Talk to yourself as the new man. You can collapse time by assumption. Time is a measurement of distance, but in the spiritual world there is no distance. Everything is here and now. The only thing separating you from your desire is your belief in time. You think it takes time to become wealthy. You think it takes time to heal. But miracles are simply the collapsing of time. When you dare to assume that you are already the person you want to be, you bridge the gap instantly. The moment you know that you are the one, all things move in accordance. It will look like coincidence, like fortune, like magic, but it is none of those. It is the law playing out with mathematical precision. Time will try to convince you that you are not there yet. But time is a servant, not a master. And you are not bound by the timeline you inherited or the pace others choose. You are free to move as fast as your belief allows. Stop asking if you are ready. You are. You always have been. The only readiness you need is the willingness to step in, to believe, to claim. The world does not respond to need. It responds to conviction. You must know that you are the one, that you are chosen, not by fate, not by chance, but by consciousness itself. You chose yourself when you dared to desire. Now you must ratify that choice by daring to be. The moment you decide, I am this person, the entire universe shifts to validate that claim. You will find people treating you differently. You will find opportunities appearing that were invisible before. Why? Because you have changed your signal. You are broadcasting a new frequency, and the world must tune into it. This shift from wanting to being requires a death. You must be willing to let the old man die. You cannot be the new person and the old person at the same time. You cannot hold on to your victim story and grab the crown of victory. You must let go of the old identity. You must stop telling the story of your struggle. You must stop identifying with your past failures. They are dead. Let the dead bury the dead. You are a new creation. Every time you enter the silence and assume the wish fulfilled, you are born again. This is the true meaning of being born again. It is not a religious ritual, it is a psychological transformation. It is the movement from the state of the man of earth to the state of the man of imagination. Do not be fooled by appearances. They are shadows of your past consciousness. If you want to know what you have been assuming, look around. Your current world is a printout of your past thoughts. But if you want to know what will be, look within. The seeds you plant today in imagination will become your harvest tomorrow in form. Stop waiting for the door to open. You are the door. When you walk as though it is done, the path reveals itself. The people show up. The opportunities arise, but not before you move in faith. Faith is not hoping. Faith is the bold inner knowing that what you have imagined is more real than what you see. Be smooth with yourself. Do not be rough. Do not force yourself. Gently guide your mind into the new state. Wear it like a loose garment until it fits you perfectly. Let your inner dialogue match the life you are choosing. Talk to yourself as one who already is. I am not, I will be. I have not, I hope. Let every thought and word be soaked in the vibration of fulfillment. That is the great secret to feel it real. To feel from it, not for it. You are not striving to become something better. You are awakening to what has always been true. Beneath every limitation, every delay, every doubt, there is the truth of who you are. And who you are is powerful beyond measure, not someday but now. You are the creator of your world, and your world is waiting on your recognition. Walk as if the thing is done, and the world will bend. Think as the version of you who already has it, and everything will rearrange itself to reflect that inner shift. Don't look to the clock. Don't count the days. Count only your assumptions. Track only your states. It is not about time. It is about alignment. There's nothing to strive for when you know it is already yours. You need only walk in the confidence of fulfillment. You need only persist in the assumption, and every bridge will appear. Every so-called coincidence will line up in perfect order. There is no delay in the realm of the spirit. Only the illusion of delay created by disbelief. So let go. Let go of the old self. The one who waits, who begs, who hopes. That self has no power. Step into the I am, the God within, the one who chooses and knows it is done. That self walks with certainty, speaks with authority, lives from the end. And as you sustain that self, the old must fall away. It cannot stay. Whatever you are not changing, you are choosing. If you want something new, you must become someone new. Not through effort, but through identity. Through this silent assumption again and again until it becomes automatic, natural, effortless. That is the way. This moment is your door. This breath, this thought, this choice now is the access point of all reality. Nothing is holding you back but the story you are telling. Change the story and the world changes with it. Speak it, feel it, own it, become it. Now you have spent long enough studying the path, long enough analyzing the how, the when, the sequence of events. But the map you are searching for is not written in external lines or plotted with visible coordinates. It is etched in your own being. The way is made by walking in the assumption of the fulfilled desire. The way reveals itself to the one who moves in inner certainty, who no longer asks, how will it come, but declares, it is already mine. Do not let your five senses rule your life. They are servants, not sovereigns. They report what has already been imagined and accepted in the past. But they cannot testify to what is being conceived now in this sacred moment. What you see, hear, and touch is the echo, not the cause. The cause lies in the unseen, in the imaginal act, in the sustained feeling that what you desire is already your reality. You are not sent here to react. You are sent to create. You are not made to live by appearances, but by inner conviction. Reality responds to the one who knows. Not the one who pleads, who begs, who waits for confirmation, but to the one who claims their end as now. Who inhabits the feeling, who moves, speaks, and breathes as one who already possesses the thing. Nothing is outside of you. All that you call outside is a projection, a reflection, a mirror of your state of consciousness. Change your concept of self and your entire world will rearrange itself to match. It does not matter what has been. It does not matter what others say. Their voices hold no power over the one who walks in inner authority. Let them speak. Let the facts scream their protest. Let the evidence contradict you, and still you persist. You hold your inner vision as law. That is faith. That is power. There is no merit in delay. There is no virtue in struggle. You are not made to climb and crawl and strain to receive what is already yours. The Father has already given it. It is yours for the taking. You need only claim it, not with effort, but with knowing. It is not about earning. It is about accepting. Not about striving, but resting in the conviction that what you imagine with feeling is your true inheritance. If you believe you must wait, then you create the experience of waiting. If you believe it is hard, then difficulty will greet you at every turn. But if you believe it is done, if you feel that truth and walk in it, then the universe must mirror that belief back to you. It is not a question of if, but when you will allow yourself to receive. Stop delaying your own arrival. Stop postponing your own greatness. There is no outside force holding you back. There is only the identity you continue to wear. And identities are chosen, not imposed. Choose now to wear the new self, to identify with the version of you who no longer waits, who no longer hopes, but who knows. And from that knowing, all things come. When you decide who you are, you decide what you get. It is as simple and as terrifying as that. So choose wisely, choose boldly, and never look back at the old man you left behind. He is gone. You are here, and you are the I am of your new world. Now we arrive at the very heart of the matter, the great conflict that rages within the soul of every seeker. We have established that you must shift your identity, but the question arises, how do we do this effectively? The reason why the vast majority of you fail to manifest your desires, despite your best intentions, is that you are using the wrong instrument. You are trying to open a spiritual door with a physical key. You are using willpower when you should be using imagination. Society has conditioned you from birth to believe that success is the result of grit, of grinding, of forcing your way through obstacles. You are taught that if a wall stands in your way, you must batter it down with your bare hands. This is the way of Caesar. This is the way of the physical man who believes he is separate from his world. But it is not the way of the spirit, and it is certainly not the way of the master. Willpower is limited. It is a finite resource. It is like a muscle that fatigues when overused. When you rely on willpower, you are operating from the premise of lack. You are telling the universe that the thing you desire is difficult to attain and that you must fight the universe to get it. This creates a vibration of struggle, and the universe, which is a faithful mirror, reflects that struggle back to you by creating more resistance. Contrast this with imagination. Imagination is not the idle daydreaming of a child. It is the blueprint that constructs the reality we live in. It is the foundation upon which your entire life is built. Look around you. Every building, every invention, every piece of art, and every political system first began as a spark in the human mind. It was an image before it was a fact. Imagination operates in the realm of infinite potential. It transcends the boundaries of logic, time, and space. In the realm of willpower, you are constrained by what is physically possible right now. In the realm of imagination, you are free to create, to envision anything and everything, regardless of the current facts. When you try to change your life using willpower, you are fighting against the current reality. You are looking at the poverty in your bank account and trying to force yourself to feel rich while staring at the lack. This creates a psychological conflict, a civil war in the mind. But when you use imagination, you turn your back on the current reality and you enter a new dimension where the poverty does not exist. You create a new reality that supersedes the old one. There is a psychological law known as the law of reversed effort. It states that when the will and the imagination are in conflict, the imagination invariably wins. Consider a simple example. If I place a wooden plank on the ground and ask you to walk across it, you would do so easily. Your will to walk and your imagination that you can walk are in agreement. But if I place that same plank between two skyscrapers, hundreds of feet in the air, and ask you to walk across it, you would likely freeze. Your will says, I want to walk across, but your imagination screams, I'm going to fall. And because your imagination is more powerful than your will, you will either not move or you will fall. The harder you try to force yourself to walk using willpower, the more terrified you become. This is exactly what happens when you try to force a manifestation. You say, I will be wealthy, but your imagination is fixated on your debt. You say, I will be healthy, but your imagination is terrified of the diagnosis. As long as you use force, the imagination of failure will overpower the will to succeed. You cannot force the subconscious mind. You must seduce it. You must persuade it with the gentle reality of the wish fulfilled. Imagination bypasses the critical faculty that willpower triggers. When you say, I must do this or I will force this to happen, you are raising the defenses of your conscious mind. You are implying that there is a massive obstacle in your way. You are creating a state of tension. But imagination creates a state of flow. When you vividly imagine the end result, when you feel the joy of the wish fulfilled, you are not fighting, you are accepting. The subconscious mind does not respond to force, it responds to persuasion and feeling. When you imagine a state with sensory vividness, your subconscious accepts it as true. It does not know the difference between a physical fact and an imaginal act. Once accepted, the subconscious begins to move the mountains of your world to make it so. It aligns your actions, your decisions, and your environment in ways that make the vision a reality. This process is effortless because it is natural. It is the nature of the seed to grow once it is planted in fertile soil. Willpower is like trying to pry the flower open with your fingers. Imagination is watering the soil and letting the sun do the work. Let us look deeper into the state of flow versus the state of friction. Willpower creates friction. It feels like stress. It feels like anxiety. It creates tunnel vision where you become so fixated on a specific path or result that you miss the infinite other ways the universe could deliver your desire. You think, I must get the money this way, or I must get the job through this person. This rigidity cuts you off from the miraculous. Imagination, by contrast, opens up the space for endless possibilities. It holds the end, but leaves the means to the wisdom of the deeper self. It is flexible. It is creative. It attracts circumstances and opportunities that your logical mind could never have devised. When you are in the state of imagination, you enter a rhythm where ideas and solutions come to you. You find yourself doing things, meeting people, and making decisions that lead you to your goal, but it feels natural. It feels inevitable. You are no longer fighting against the tide. You are moving with it. This explains why those who strive the hardest often receive the least, while those who seem to work with ease attract the most. The striver is using willpower. He is constantly validating the obstacle by fighting it. The creator is using imagination. He is dissolving the obstacle by ignoring it and focusing on the destination. You must understand that the world is a fluid substance shaped by consciousness. When you attack it with a hammer, it shatters. When you mold it with a vision, it yields. You are the potter, and your life is the clay. You do not beat the clay into submission. You hold a vision of the vase in your mind, and your hands move almost automatically to shape the clay into that likeness. This is the difference between hard labor and inspired action. We must also address the misconception that imagination is passive. Critics will say, you cannot just sit on the couch and imagine. And they are right, but they misunderstand the nature of the law. When you imagine correctly, you will not just sit on the couch. You will be compelled to act, but the action will not be forced labor. It will be what we call inspired action. You will feel a sudden urge to call someone. You will feel a desire to go to a certain place. You will wake up with an idea that solves a problem that has plagued you for months. This action is part of the bridge of incidents. It is the universe moving you through the script you have written. But to the outside observer, it may look like work. To you, it feels like play. It feels like the unfolding of a destiny you have already chosen. Willpower feels like you are pushing the boulder up the hill. Imagination feels like the boulder has been removed and you are walking freely to the summit. The mastery of this key requires you to stop trying so hard. Effort is the enemy of manifestation. This sounds contradictory to everything you have been taught, but it is the highest spiritual truth. In the state of prayer or imaginal creation, you must be in a state of minimum effort. You must yield. You must surrender. You do not capture a butterfly by chasing it with a net and stomping through the garden. You sit quietly and let it land on you. You do not capture a state of consciousness by hunting it down. You relax into it. You assume it. To assume means to take upon oneself. It is a gentle act. You slip into the feeling of wealth as you would slip into a warm bath. You do not splash and struggle. You immerse yourself. The conflict between imagination and willpower is the conflict between the old man and the new man. The old man believes in force. He believes in the power of the arm and the sword. The new man believes in the power of the spirit and the word. The sword conquers for a moment, but the word creates forever. When you find yourself gritting your teeth, when you find your heart racing with anxiety, when you feel the weight of the world on your shoulders, stop. You are using the wrong key. You are trying to force the lock. Step back. Take a breath. Withdraw your attention from the problem. Go into the silence of your imagination. See the solution. Feel the relief of the solution. Stay there until the tension leaves your body. Stay there until the knot in your stomach unties itself. When you feel that deep inner sigh of relief, you have successfully used the master key. You have unlocked the door. Now you can walk through the door, and you will find that the action required of you is light. You will find that the burden is easy. This is what was meant by the great teachers when they said, "My yoke is easy and my burden is light." The yoke of the imagination is light because it aligns you with the creative flow of the universe. The yoke of willpower is heavy because it isolates you and pits you against the world. You must choose this day which master you will serve. Will you serve the hard master of willpower who demands your blood and sweat and gives you crumbs in return? Or will you serve the gentle master of imagination who asks only for your faith and gives you the kingdom? Do not be afraid to let go of the struggle. I know it feels safe to struggle because it feels like you are doing something. It satisfies the ego's need to feel important. But the results of struggle are meager. The results of imagination are magnificent. Dare to trust the invisible. Dare to trust the power that spins the planets. It does not need your muscle. It needs your vision. It needs your acceptance. When you stop fighting the world and start imagining the best for it, the world will stop fighting you. It will lay down its arms and welcome you as the king. This is the secret of the master key. It opens every prison door. It dissolves every chain. But it must be turned with the gentle hand of faith, not the iron fist of will. So I challenge you to examine your life. Where are you pushing? Where are you forcing? Where are you exhausted? That is where you have abandoned imagination. Reclaim it. Stop pushing the car and get in the driver's seat. Turn on the engine of imagination. Steer with the wheel of focus. And let the power of the engine take you where you want to go. You were not made to be a beast of burden. You were made to be a creator. And a creator creates with a thought, with a feeling, with a word. Let your will be used only for one thing, to keep your imagination focused on the end. Use your will not to fight the world, but to discipline your own mind. That is the only proper use of the will. To hold the attention on the wish fulfilled until it hardens into fact. Everything else is futility. Imagination is the way, the truth, and the life. Before we move on to the atmosphere in which this master key turns the flow state, I want to invite you to deepen your commitment. You are listening to this because you are tired of the struggle. You are ready to stop forcing doors open and start unlocking them with the key of imagination. If this message speaks to your soul, if you are ready to leave the way of Caesar and walk the way of the Spirit, take a moment to subscribe to this channel. Join our community of conscious creators. By subscribing, you are signaling to yourself and to the universe that you are serious about mastering these laws. We have much more to uncover about how to sustain this state and how to use emotional resonance. Click subscribe and let us continue the journey into the flow state. We have spoken of the futility of forcing your way through life with the iron fist of willpower, and we have introduced the master key of imagination, but now we must discuss the atmosphere in which this key turns. When you abandon the struggle of the will, you do not enter a void, you enter a state of dynamic movement which we call the flow state. This is the state where the friction of life dissolves. Friction is caused by resistance, and resistance is caused by believing that you are separate from your desire. When you try to get something, you are affirming that you do not have it, and this creates a drag on your spirit. But when you assume you are the person who already has it, you eliminate the distance. You eliminate the friction. You enter the flow. In this state, you are no longer swimming upstream against the current of circumstances, fighting for every inch of progress. Instead, you have turned your boat around. You are floating downstream, carried by the infinite power of the subconscious mind toward your destination. This is not laziness. This is alignment. It is the difference between the man who rows the boat with bleeding hands and the man who puts up the sail and lets the wind do the work. The wind is your imagination, and the sail is your attention. Understanding this flow state is essential because it redefines the nature of action. There is a terrible misconception in the world of metaphysics that using imagination means you do nothing. Critics mock this teaching by saying you cannot just sit on a sofa and expect $1 million to fall into your lap. They are missing the point entirely. When you are in the flow state, you are not inactive, you are hyperactive, but the quality of the action is different. It is what we call inspired action. When you have fully accepted the state of the wish fulfilled, you will be compelled to move. You will find yourself taking actions that seem logical and necessary, but they will not feel like labor. You will not have to drag yourself out of bed to do them. You will be pulled by a magnetic force. You might feel a sudden urge to call a stranger, or walk down a specific street, or start a project at midnight. These impulses are the breadcrumbs of the bridge of incidents. You follow them with joy because you know they are leading you to the fulfillment of your assumption. The man using willpower works 14 hours a day and burns out because he is fueling his action with fear. The man using imagination might work 14 hours a day and feel energized because he is fueling his action with love and certainty. That is the flow state. It is action without reaction. It is movement without friction. However, entering this state is only the beginning. Sustaining it is the discipline. This brings us to the discipline of persistence. Imagination is powerful, but sporadic imagination is not enough. You cannot be the master of your fate if you are a part-time creator. You cannot imagine wealth for 10 minutes in the morning and then spend the rest of the 16 waking hours complaining about the cost of living. This is the double-minded man who is unstable in all his ways. You are building a palace with your hands and tearing it down with your feet. You must develop a mental diet. Just as you would not feed your body poison if you wanted to be healthy, you must not feed your mind thoughts of lack if you want to be wealthy. You must become the guardian of the threshold of your mind. You must watch your inner conversations. Every time you catch yourself arguing with someone in your mind or worrying about a potential disaster, you must stop. You must prune that vine immediately. This is the only proper use of willpower. Do not use your will to fight the world. Use your will to direct your attention. Use your will to bring your wandering mind back to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This persistence is what hardens the liquid light of imagination into the concrete facts of your life. This leads us to the fuel that powers this entire engine, which is emotional resonance. Thought without emotion is a shadow. It has no substance. It has no creative power. You can think about a new car all day long. You can look at pictures of it. You can repeat affirmations until your throat is dry. But if you do not feel the reality of it, nothing will happen. Emotion is the binder. It is the chemical agent that fuses the idea with the subconscious mind. The subconscious does not speak English or French or Spanish. It speaks the language of feeling. When you impress a thought upon the subconscious, with feeling it accepts that thought as a directive. It does not analyze it. It does not judge it. It simply executes it. This is why we say feeling is the secret. But we must clarify what we mean by feeling. We are not talking about hysterical emotion. We are not talking about a manic burst of excitement that burns out in an hour. We are talking about the deep, resonant feeling of reality. It is the feeling of naturalness. When you wear a new suit for the first time, you might feel self-conscious. You are aware of the suit, but when you wear it every day, it becomes comfortable. It becomes part of you. You do not think about it. That is the feeling you are aiming for. The feeling of naturalness. You want to reach the point where your desire feels natural to you, where wealth feels like your normal state, where health feels like your birthright, When a state feels natural, it is on the verge of manifestation. This is why you must persist in the imaginal act until it loses the thrill of novelty and takes on the tones of reality. You want to feel the texture of the reality so vividly that when you open your eyes, you are shocked to find you are not there. That shock is a good sign. It means you have successfully tricked the subconscious. You have made the inner world more real than the outer world. Let us go deeper into the specific emotion that signals success. If I had to distill the entire law into a single emotion, it would not be joy and it would not be excitement. It would be relief. Relief is the most powerful creative sensation you can experience. Why relief? Because relief implies that the problem is solved. Relief implies that the burden has been lifted. It implies that the desire has been fulfilled. When you are hungry and you eat a full meal, you do not feel excitement, you feel relief and satisfaction. When you are lost and you finally find your way home, you feel relief. This deep exhale of the soul is the Sabbath mentioned in Scripture. It is the moment of rest. When you can close your eyes, go into the silence, construct a scene of your fulfilled desire, and feel a wave of relief wash over you, you have touched God. You have made contact. That feeling of relief is the signal that the spiritual seed has been planted. Once the seed is planted, you do not need to plant it again. You simply need to water it with gratitude. This emotional resonance acts as a magnet. We live in a universe of vibration. Everything is vibrating at a specific frequency. Your emotions are your broadcasting station. When you are in a state of frustration, you are broadcasting a frequency that attracts more things to be frustrated about. You will hit every red light. You will drop your coffee. People will be rude to you. The world is simply echoing your signal. But when you shift into the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you change the frequency. You begin to broadcast a signal of success. Suddenly the lights turn green. People smile at you. Opportunities drop into your lap. You are not manipulating the world with your hands. You are organizing it with your heart. This is the effortless path. This is the way of the mystic. You draw your good to you by becoming the vibrational equivalent of it. Many of you ask, how can I feel wealthy when the bill collectors are calling? How can I feel healthy when I am in pain? This is the great test. This is where the boys are separated from the men in the spiritual world. You must learn to segregate your senses from your imagination. You must learn to live in two worlds at once. You can acknowledge the facts of the physical world without accepting them as the final truth. You can say, yes, the bank account is empty in the world of Caesar, but in the world of God, which is my imagination, I am lavishly provided for, and I choose to give my emotional loyalty to the world of God. This takes courage. It takes a brazen impudence to deny the evidence of the senses. But this is the price of admission to the higher realms of life. You must walk by faith, not by sight. And faith is simply the loyalty to the unseen reality. When you master emotional resonance, you become the master of your atmosphere. You walk into a room and the atmosphere changes. People can feel it. They may not know why, but they feel safer around you. They feel inspired around you. You are radiating the energy of the solution rather than the energy of the problem. You become a light in the darkness. This flow state allows you to navigate the complexities of life with grace. You stop reacting to every piece of bad news. You stop being a thermometer that just registers the temperature of the room, and you become a thermostat that sets the temperature. You determine how you will feel regardless of what is happening around you. This is true freedom. Freedom is not changing your circumstances. Freedom is being independent of your circumstances. And paradoxically, when you are independent of your circumstances change to reflect your independence. So the invitation of the flow state is to surrender the battle. Lay down your weapons. Stop fighting the old man. Stop fighting the world. Turn your attention inward. Find the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Nurse that feeling. Protect it. Feed it. Let it grow until it crowds out all the fear and doubt. Let the feeling of relief wash away the tension of the will. When you do this, you unlock the floodgates of heaven. The resources you need will flow to you. The ideas you need will flow through you. The people you need will gravitate toward you. You will find that life was never meant to be a struggle. It was meant to be a dance. But you can only dance when you hear the music, and the music is playing on the inside. It is the melody of your own fulfilled desire. Listen to it, move to it, and let the flow carry you home. Consider the power of a single moment of true feeling. One moment of intense real feeling can undo years of negative thinking. That is the grace of this law. You do not have to pay for your past mistakes with endless suffering. You can revise them. You can transcend them in a moment. If you can catch the mood of success right now, you have erased the momentum of failure. The past has no power over the present moment unless you give it power. The flow state is always available. It is just a thought away. It is just a feeling away. You can step into it right now by simply asking yourself, how would I feel if it were true? And then daring to feel that answer. As you practice this, you will find that your tolerance for negativity decreases. You will no longer be able to indulge in self-pity or gossip or fear. These things will taste like ash in your mouth. You will crave the high altitude of the flow state. You will become addicted to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And that is a glorious addiction because it leads to life and life more abundantly. You are constructing a new self, a self that is at home in the miraculous. You are training your emotional body to dwell in the end. And as you do this, you are fulfilling your destiny as a conscious creator. You are taking the raw energy of life and stamping it with the seal of your own divine imagination. This is the work you came here to do. To turn water into wine. To turn the water of everyday experience into the wine of spiritual fulfillment. And it all begins with the flow. We have explored the illusion of time and the power of imagination versus willpower, and now we ascend to the pinnacle of this teaching, which is the art of living in the end. This is not merely a technique to be practiced for 5 minutes a day. It is a radical restructuring of how you exist in the world. To live in the end is the operational secret of the creative power of God. It is the distinction that separates the dreamer who sleeps from the creator who awakens. Most people are content to visit the state of their desire. They visit it like a tourist visiting a beautiful country. They look at the pictures of wealth, they taste the feeling of health for a fleeting moment, but then they pack their bags and return to the squalor of their current limitations. They return to the state of wanting. But if you wish to transform your life, you cannot be a tourist. You must become a resident. You must renounce your citizenship in the land of lack and immigrate permanently to the land of fulfillment. You must live there. You must sleep there. You must eat and drink there. This is what it means to live in the end. It means mentally taking up residence in the state of the wish fulfilled and viewing the entire world from that vantage point. We must make a critical distinction between thinking of the end and thinking from the end. This is the razor's edge upon which your success depends. To think of your desire is to see it as an object separate from yourself. It is to look at it across the chasm of time and space. When you think of a new home, you see the home over there while you remain here. This emphasizes the distance. It reinforces the separation. It is a confession that I am not there. And since the subconscious mind objectifies what you are conscious of being, thinking of the desire only creates more distance. You will always be chasing the carrot on the stick. But to think from the end is a unified state. It is to step into the picture. It is to look out at the world from the living room of that new home. When you think from the end, you are no longer seeing the house, you are seeing the street outside the house. You are seeing your old life from the perspective of the new life. The house is no longer an object of desire, it is the platform of your existence. You are inside it. You are wearing the skin of the new man. This mental shift requires a kind of spiritual boldness that the world calls madness, but which the mystic calls truth. You must dare to assume that you are the person you want to be, even when your senses deny it. This is the great battleground. Your senses are loud. They scream at you. They tell you that your bank account is empty, that your body is weak, that your relationships are broken. They constantly report the facts of the physical world. But you must understand what facts are. Facts are merely frozen thoughts. They are the shadows cast by your past imaginal acts. If you continue to react to the facts, you are perpetuating the past. You are keeping the shadows alive. To change the world, you must ignore the facts and trust the truth of your imagination. You must have the brazen impudence to say, I don't care what the facts say. In my imagination I am wealthy, and my imagination is the true reality. You must learn to walk by faith and not by sight. Living in the end means that you carry the atmosphere of your fulfilled desire with you wherever you go. You do not leave it in your meditation chair. When you walk down the street, you walk as the successful man. You hold your head high. You breathe differently. You interact with people differently. You do not ask, can I afford this? You ask, do I want this? Even if you do not physically buy it yet. You make decisions from the premise of abundance, not the premise of lack. You are constantly referencing your new identity. When a challenge arises, you do not react as the old victim. You pause and ask, how would the person I am becoming handle this? And then you handle it from that higher state. This is how you merge the inner world with the outer world. You impose the order of heaven onto the chaos of earth. You do not wait for the world to validate you. You validate yourself. Consider the power of your inner conversations. This is the most accurate barometer of whether you are living in the end. What are you saying to yourself when the world is not watching? If you are living in the end, your inner speech will match your outer desire. You will not be arguing with creditors in your mind. You will be thanking them for their service. You will not be rehearsing arguments with your spouse. You will be hearing their loving words. Your inner speech must be aligned with your assumption. You cannot assume success and talk failure. That is a house divided against itself, and it cannot stand. You must monitor your inner dialogue with the vigilance of a guard at the palace gate. Do not let a single negative thought enter without challenging it. If a thought of lack tries to enter, stop it. Revise it, rewrite the script instantly. Say to yourself, no, that is the old story. I am now living a new story. And replace the thought with one that implies fulfillment. This practice of living in the end is not about deluding yourself in a dangerous way. It is not about spending money you do not have. It is about spending the currency of imagination, which is limitless. It is about occupying a psychological state so completely that the outer world has no choice but to reflect it. The world is a mirror. It has no will of its own. It creates nothing. It only reflects. If you are waiting for the reflection to smile before you smile, you will wait forever. You must smile first. You must be the change. You must be the cause. Living in the end creates a vacuum in the universe. Nature abhors a vacuum. When you create a space in your consciousness where you are already the person you want to be, the universe rushes to fill that space with the necessary events, people and circumstances to make it a physical fact. This is the mechanics of miracles. The miracle is just the natural result of a consciousness that has accepted the end. You might ask, how do I sustain this when the world is so heavy? How do I live in the end when I am in pain or in debt? It is a matter of frequency, not duration. You do not need to hold the state perfectly 24 hours a day. That is impossible for the human mind, but you must return to it often. You will wander. You will forget. You will react to the senses. That is natural. But the moment you realize you have wandered, you must bring yourself back. Do not judge yourself. Do not beat yourself up. Just gently bring your attention back to the wish fulfilled. Like a sheep that has gone astray, guide your mind back to the green pastures of your desire. The more often you return, the more natural the state becomes. Eventually, it will become your dwelling place. It will become your home. And once it is your home, you will no longer desire it because you will have it. You cannot desire what you already possess. The cessation of longing is the proof of the assumption. Living in the end changes your relationship with time. When you live in the end, you are not waiting for the future. You have brought the future into the present. You are experiencing the joy of the outcome right now. This removes the anxiety of waiting. Why be anxious about something you already have? Why worry about the how when you are already occupying the end? The how is the business of the deeper self. Your business is the what and the where. You determine what you want, and you stay there in consciousness. The bridge of incidents will appear, and you will walk across it naturally. You may not even realize you are walking across it until you arrive. That is how natural the process is. It does not feel like magic. It feels like the logical progression of events. But the logic was born from your assumption. This art requires you to be an actor of the highest caliber. An actor on stage does not pretend to be Hamlet. He is Hamlet. He thinks Hamlet's thoughts, he feels Hamlet's pain. For the duration of the play, he has forgotten his own identity. You must be that kind of actor. You must forget the limited little person you thought you were, and you must step fully into the character of the God-man. You must wear the robes of your divinity. You must act the part until the part becomes your reality. This is not hypocrisy. Hypocrisy is pretending to be good while being evil. This is integrity. Integrity is integrating the outer self with the inner ideal. You are bringing your highest vision down to earth. You are making the word flesh. Do not share your secret with those who will mock you. Living in the end is a secret operation. It is done in the closet of the mind. If you tell others, I am living in the end of wealth while you are visibly poor, they will laugh at you and their doubt will infect you. Keep your counsel. Do the work in silence. Let the results speak for themselves. When the harvest comes, and it surely will, then you can tell them how you did it. But until then, preserve your energy. Focus it entirely on maintaining the mood of the wish fulfilled. The mood is the secret. It is the fragrance of the rose. You may not see the rose yet, but if you can smell the fragrance, you know the rose is near. The feeling of reality is that fragrance. Sustain it. Bathe in it. Let it saturate your mind until there is no room for doubt. Remember that you are constantly living in the end of something. You are always assuming something is true. Right now, you might be living in the end of I am tired, or I am broke, or I am lonely. You are manifesting those states perfectly. The law is working 24/7. You are never not using your imagination. The question is not whether the law works, the question is how you are using it. You are a master creator who has fallen asleep at the wheel and is creating nightmares by accident. I am inviting you to wake up and grab the wheel. I am inviting you to consciously choose the end you want to live in. Choose a noble end. Choose a lovely end. And then occupy it with all the fire and passion of your soul. There is a final mystery to living in the end. It is the mystery of gratitude. When you truly live in the end, your primary emotion is gratitude. You are not asking, please give this to me. You are saying, thank you that I have received it. Gratitude is the ultimate state of receivership. You cannot be grateful for something you do not believe you have. Therefore, when you give thanks before the visible evidence appears, you are performing the supreme act of faith. You are acknowledging the reality of the unseen. Thank you, Father, that thou hast heard me. This was the prayer of the Master before the miracle. It must be your prayer. Live in the state of thank you. Walk through your day whispering, thank you for the wealth that is invisible but real. Thank you for the health that is claiming your body. This vibration of gratitude is the bridge that solidifies the liquid light of imagination into the hard facts of life. So tonight I challenge you to move house. Pack up your mental belongings and move out of the slums of your past. Move into the mansion of your future. Do not just visit on weekends. Live there. Make it your permanent address. Sleep in the bed of success. Eat at the table of plenty. Look in the mirror of perfection. If the old world knocks on the door, do not answer. You do not live there anymore. You are a new being living in a new world. And as you remain faithful to this new address, the world of Caesar will have no choice but to crumble and reassemble itself around your new residence. This is the law. This is the promise. And it cannot fail. We have now reached the most critical juncture of our study. You have learned how to shift your identity. You have learned the difference between willpower and imagination. You have learned the art of living in the end. But now you must face the dragon that guards the treasure. That dragon is doubt. Doubt is the great divider. It is the only thing that stands between your imaginal act and its physical fulfillment. You must understand that doubt is not a sign of intelligence or caution. It is a sign of spiritual amnesia. It is a sign that you have forgotten who you are and have returned to the worship of the false gods of reason and sensory evidence. When doubt arises, it does not mean your manifestation has failed. It means your faith is being tested. It is the fire that burns away the dross so that only the gold remains. You must learn to destroy doubt, not by fighting it, but by understanding its nature and dismissing its voice. The root of all doubt lies in a single three-letter word: how. The moment you ask, how will this happen, you have stepped out of the state of the wish fulfilled and returned to the state of lack. The how is not your business. The how belongs to the infinite wisdom of the subconscious mind, which has ways and means you know not of. When you ask how, you are trying to fit the infinite power of God into the tiny box of your logical understanding. Your logic is based only on what has happened in the past. It cannot predict the miraculous. It cannot foresee the bridge of incidents. When you worry about the how, you are essentially telling the universe that you do not trust it. You are digging up the seed to see if it has roots, and in doing so you kill the seed. You must have the discipline to leave the how alone. You must be content with the what. You determine the end, and you let the wisdom within determine the means. Doubt thrives on the evidence of the senses. Your senses are biologically programmed to report the current state of affairs. They are excellent at telling you that you are broke or sick or lonely, but they are incapable of telling you what is coming. They are historians, not prophets. When you allow the report of the senses to cause you doubt, you are worshipping a dead image. You must understand that the physical world is a delayed feedback loop. What you see today is the result of what you imagined yesterday or last year. If you react to it with doubt, you are simply creating more of the same for tomorrow. To destroy doubt, you must withdraw your trust from the senses and place it entirely in your imagination. You must say to your senses, I hear you, but I do not believe you. You are reporting the past. My imagination is creating the future. This is what the mystics meant by dying to self. You die to the sensory self so that you can live to the imaginative self. We must also discuss the concept of the interval. There is always an interval of time between the imaginal act and the physical manifestation. This is the law of gestation. Every seed has its own appointed hour. A baby takes 9 months. A stalk of corn takes a season. An idea takes however long is necessary for the bridge of incidents to unfold. The problem is that we live in a society of instant gratification. We want the result the moment we think the thought, and when it does not appear instantly, doubt creeps in. We think it didn't work, but it is working. It is working underground. The silence of the interval is not empty. It is pregnant. It is teeming with invisible activity. The universe is rearranging itself. People are being moved into position. Circumstances are being aligned. Just because you cannot see the activity does not mean it is not happening. You must learn to wait with active expectation, not passive despair. Patience is not the ability to wait, but the ability to keep a good attitude while waiting. It is the ability to maintain the feeling of the wish fulfilled even when the screen of the world is blank. Trusting the process means understanding the bridge of incidents. This is the series of events that leads you from where you are to where you want to be. And here is the shocking truth. The bridge of incidents often looks like trouble. It often looks like a wrong turn. You might imagine a new job, and the next day you get fired from your current one. Doubt will scream, see, it didn't work? Now you are unemployed. But faith knows that this is the necessary clearing of the ground. You had to be released from the old to make room for the new. You might imagine a perfect relationship, and suddenly your current relationship falls apart. Doubt calls it a tragedy. Faith calls it a bridge. You do not know the script. You only know the ending. If you try to judge the middle of the movie by the standards of logic, you will be terrified. But if you trust the director, you will know that the plot twist is necessary for the glorious conclusion. You must trust the messy middle. You must walk through the valley of the shadow of death, fearing no evil, because you know the destination is the table prepared for you. When doubt attacks, it usually attacks in the form of inner conversations. You start arguing with yourself. You start replaying the old stories of failure. You must develop a zero-tolerance policy for these conversations. You must be like a bouncer at an exclusive club. When a doubtful thought tries to enter your mind, you stop it at the door. You ask, does this thought serve my wish fulfilled? If the answer is no, you throw it out. You do not entertain it. You do not invite it for tea. You slam the door. You replace it instantly with the affirmation of your good. I do not know how, but I know that I am. This mental diet is the key to destroying doubt. You cannot feast on the garbage of negativity and expect to manifest the banquet of success. You must feed your mind the protein of truth. There is a powerful psychological tool called the law of reversibility. Physics tells us that energy can be transformed from one state to another. If a physical fact can produce a psychological state, then a psychological state can produce a physical fact. If having money makes you feel secure, then feeling secure will produce money. Doubt tries to break this connection. Doubt tells you that the feeling is fake because the fact is missing. But you know the law. You know that the feeling is the parent of the fact. Therefore, when doubt whispers you are deluding yourself, you reply, no, I am creating myself. You hold the feeling of the wish fulfilled as an anchor in the storm. The winds of doubt may blow, the waves of circumstance may crash, but if you hold the anchor, you will not drift. You will stay centered in the truth until the storm passes and the land appears. You must realize that you are the operant power. This means that nothing happens to you, everything happens through you. Doubt is not an external monster attacking you. It is your own lack of faith projected outward. When you conquer doubt within, you conquer all opposition without. The world has no power to say no to you. Only you have the power to say no to yourself. And you say no by doubting. Every time you doubt, you are aborting the child. You are unplugging the machine. You are stopping the flow. Why would you do that to yourself? Why would you be your own worst enemy? Decide today that you are on your own side. Decide that you will be the greatest champion of your own dreams. When the voice of the world says it's impossible, let the voice of your inner being say it is done. There is a mystery to the timing of the Lord. The scripture says, the vision has its own appointed hour. It ripens. It will not fail. If it be long, wait for it. For it is sure, and it will not be late. It will not be late. It might seem late to your anxious ego, but it will be right on time for your soul. The universe knows the perfect moment to deliver the goods. It knows when you are ready to handle the blessing. Sometimes the delay is a mercy. It gives you time to prepare your consciousness to receive the magnitude of what you have asked for. If you received it before you were ready, you might lose it. So trust the timing. Trust that the delay is not a denial. It is a preparation. You must also understand that you are not doing this alone. You are working in partnership with the infinite intelligence of the universe. This intelligence knows how to weave the complex tapestry of human events to bring about your desire. It influences the minds of others without their knowledge. It arranges coincidences that are mathematically impossible. It bends the laws of probability in your favor. When you doubt, you are insulting this intelligence. You are saying, I don't think you can handle this. How arrogant of the little conscious mind to doubt the power that spins the galaxies. Humble yourself before this power. Admit that you do not know the way, but trust that the way knows the way. Surrender the heavy burden of figuring it out and accept the light burden of believing it is so. The process of manifestation is a refining fire. It demands that you become a person of character. It demands that you develop spiritual stamina. If you could manifest everything instantly with no faith required, you would remain a spiritual infant. The interval of waiting where doubt attacks is your gymnasium. It is where you build the muscles of faith. It is where you prove to yourself and to the universe that you are serious. Do you really want this? Or is it just a passing whim? If you really want it, you will stand firm when the doubt comes. You will look the doubt in the eye and say, you have no power over me. You will persist, and in your persistence you will possess your soul. You will gain not just the thing you desired, but the power to create anything you desire. Let us look at the anatomy of a breakthrough. Usually, right before the manifestation appears, things seem to go wrong. The darkness is deepest just before the dawn. The pressure is greatest just before the diamond is formed. Doubt is loudest just before it is silenced forever. If you are experiencing intense doubt right now, it might be a sign that you are very close. The old man is fighting for his life because he knows his time is short. Do not give in. Do not turn back now. You have come too far to return to the slavery of the senses. Keep walking. Keep believing. Keep assuming. The bridge is solid beneath your feet, even if you cannot see it. Finally, remember that trust is a choice, not a feeling. You might feel afraid, but you can choose to trust. You might feel uncertain, but you can choose to act as if you are certain. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the mastery of it. Faith is not the absence of doubt, it is the overcoming of it. Every time you choose trust over doubt, you are depositing money into your spiritual bank account. You are building a momentum of success that will become unstoppable. So tonight, make a covenant with yourself. I will not indulge in doubt. I will not entertain the how. I will trust the process. I will remain faithful to the end. And I know that my faithfulness will be rewarded with the realization of my heart's desire. This is the path of the Master. This is the key to reality. Use it and be free. We have arrived at the conclusion of our journey tonight, but in the world of spirit there are no endings, only new beginnings. We have traversed the landscape of the mind from the illusion of time to the mastery of imagination, and we have dismantled the false god of willpower to reveal the true god of assumption. You have heard the philosophy and you have heard the technique. Intellectually, you may agree with everything I have said. You may nod your head and say, yes, this makes sense. But I tell you that intellectual agreement is not enough. You can know everything about the chemistry of water, but until you drink it, you will die of thirst. You can know everything about the nutritional value of bread, but until you eat it, you will starve. The same is true of the law of assumption. It is a tool that must be used. It is a food that must be eaten. If you leave this video and go back to your old way of thinking, then this hour has been a waste of your time and mine. I am not interested in entertaining you. I am interested in transforming you. Therefore, I am issuing a final invitation. I am calling you out of the tomb of your past history. I am calling you to wake up. What does it mean to wake up? It means to realize that you have been dreaming a dream called my life, and that you have mistaken the dream for reality. You have mistaken the shadows on the wall for the objects that cast them. You have been reacting to the world as if it were a power separate from you. You have bowed down to the economy, you have bowed down to your boss, you have bowed down to the doctor's report. You have given your power away to the idols of the senses. To wake up means to reclaim that power. It means to realize that there is only one operant power in the universe, and it is your own wonderful human imagination. When you wake up, you stop fighting the mirror. You realize that the face in the mirror can only smile if you smile first. You stop trying to change people. You stop trying to change circumstances by force. You go within, you change the film in the projector of your mind, and you let the world reflect the new movie. This awakening comes with a price. It is the pearl of great price. To buy the pearl, you must sell everything you own. What does this mean? It does not mean you sell your house or your car. It means you sell your old beliefs. You sell your victimhood. You sell your excuses. You sell your belief in secondary causes. You cannot hold on to the belief that they are holding you back and at the same time hold the belief that I am God. You must choose. You must give up the comfort of blaming others. This is the hardest part for the human ego. The ego loves to blame. It loves to say, it's not my fault. But the awakened soul says, I am responsible. I am responsible for my poverty. I am responsible for my wealth. I am responsible for my sickness. I am responsible for my health. This responsibility is not a burden, it is freedom. Because if you caused it, you can change it. If someone else caused it, you are a slave to them. Waking up means accepting total responsibility for your world. The time to accept this responsibility is now, not tomorrow. Tomorrow is the devil's favorite word. Tomorrow is the graveyard of dreams. How many times have you said, I will start living my dream when the kids grow up, or I will start being happy when I retire? You are deceiving yourself. Life is not a dress rehearsal. This is the show. The curtain is up. The lights are on. You are on stage right now. Every moment you spend waiting is a moment you are not creating. You are letting the default programming of your past dictate your present. You must seize the moment. You must declare, today is the day of salvation. Today I choose to be the person I want to be. Today I choose to think from the end. Today I choose to ignore the evidence of the senses and walk by faith. I want you to realize that you are an experimental laboratory. Your consciousness is the lab and your life is the experiment. You do not need to pay money to join this lab. You do not need a degree to operate the equipment. You simply need the boldness to try. I challenge you to prove me wrong. I am so confident in this law that I invite you to try to disprove it. The only way you can disprove it is to try it faithfully and have it fail. But you cannot try it faithfully and have it fail because the law is infallible. It is as certain as gravity. If you jump off a building, you will fall. If you assume a state and sleep in it, you will become it. The failure is never in the law. The failure is always in the application. We are lazy. We let our minds wander. We fall asleep thinking about the news instead of our wish. We are double-minded. Tonight, I ask you to be single-minded. For one night, just one night, give this your total attention. Give this your best effort. Think of what you have to lose. You have nothing to lose but your misery. You have nothing to lose but your limitations. And think of what you have to gain. You have the keys to the kingdom. If this works for one thing, it will work for everything. If you can manifest a cup of coffee, you can manifest a fortune. The principle is the same. There is no size to God. A cancer is no harder to heal than a headache to the power that created the body. A fortune is no harder to create than a penny to the power that owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. The only limit is your capacity to believe. So stretch your belief tonight. Take a big bite. Dare to assume you are the person you have always wanted to be. If you accept this invitation, you are joining a silent brotherhood of mystics and masters who have walked this path before you. You are walking in the footsteps of the prophets. You are practicing the great art of life. But do not think that you will be alone. When you move in imagination, the entire universe moves with you. You will feel a support you have never felt before. You will feel the wind of the Spirit at your back. You will find that things become easy. The struggle disappears. The friction dissolves. You enter the flow of the divine. You begin to lead a charmed life. People will look at you and wonder what your secret is. They will see a light in your eyes that was not there before. They will see a confidence in your step that commands respect. But you must be vigilant. The world will try to put you back to sleep. The news will try to scare you. Your friends will try to bring you down to their level of complaint. Your own old habits will try to drag you back to the comfortable prison of the past. You must be a warrior of the mind. You must guard the door of your consciousness. Do not let the old man back in. He is dead. Leave him in the grave. Keep your eyes fixed on the new man. Keep your conversation in heaven. Heaven is not a place, it is a state of mind. When you are speaking of your desire as a present fact, you are in heaven. When you are speaking of your lack, you are in hell. You choose your residence every time you speak, every time you think, every time you feel. Choose heaven. You are the central figure in the drama of creation. The entire universe is waiting on tiptoe to see what you will imagine next. You are not a worm. You are not a mistake. You are the infinite God, clothed in skin. You are wearing this garment of flesh to learn how to handle the high voltage of creative power. Every time you imagine, you are exercising that power. So exercise it lovingly, exercise it wisely. Do not let a day go by without spending time in the silence. Do not let a day go by without pruning your vine. Cut off the dead branches of fear and worry. Water the roots of your desire with the feeling of gratitude. If you do this, you will bear fruit. It is inevitable. Remember the story of the actor playing Hamlet. He plays the part. He suffers the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, but at the end of the play, he takes off the mask and reveals who he really is. You are on the stage right now. The lights are bright and the audience is watching. Play your part well. If you are playing the part of a businessman, play it with nobility. If you are playing the part of a parent, play it with love. But never forget that it is just a part. Never forget that the real you is the one watching the play. The real you is the silence behind the words. The real you is the I am. When you finally realize this, you will laugh. You will laugh at the things that used to scare you. You will laugh at the artificial barriers of society. You will realize that you have been holding the keys in your pocket the entire time you were banging on the locked door. Take the keys out. Unlock the door. Step into the freedom that was prepared for you before the foundation of the world. The kingdom is yours. It has always been yours. It is waiting for you to claim it. So I leave you with this charge. Be bold. Be audacious. Do not settle for mediocrity. You are royalty, suffering from amnesia. Wake up. Put on your royal robes. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Walk in that feeling. Sleep in that feeling. And watch the world transform around you. Watch the Red Sea part. Watch the mountains move. Watch the dead situations in your life resurrect. You are the resurrection and the life. Believe it, live it, and be free. As we close this session, I want you to carry this feeling with you. Do not shake it off as you stand up. Do not turn on the television and wash it away with distraction. Hold it sacred. Carry it like a precious jewel in your pocket. Let it color your interactions with your family. Let it influence your work. Let it be the background music of your life. And tonight, when you lay your head on the pillow, remember that you are entering the Holy of Holies. You are meeting your Father in the silence. Do not bring the noise of the world into that meeting. Bring only your desire and your faith. Fall asleep in the arms of your answered prayer. Let your last thought be, thank you. And you will wake up in a world that has shifted to match your dream. This is the promise. This is the law. This is the master key. Now go and use it. If you have walked this path with me tonight, you know that this is not just a lecture. It is a call to arms for your spirit. But hearing the truth is only the beginning. Living it is the destination. I encourage you to listen to this message again. Let it seep into your subconscious while you sleep. And if you wish to explore more profound truths about the nature of reality and the power of I Am, make sure you are subscribed to this channel. Share this video with a friend who is still fighting the old battle of willpower. Be the one who hands them the key. Leave a comment below, declaring your new identity. Write I am, followed by your dream. Let the world witness your awakening. Thank you for your presence. The power is in your hands. Use it wisely.